Hello and welcome. So the purpose of this class is to kind of loosen up the space in our feet. So if you're familiar with the concept of fascia, it's like the suit under our skin suit, and it travels, or it doesn't travel, but it's like this Spider-Man suit that exists like under our skin. It's a communication network for a lot of things that happen in our body, and a lot of the fascia on the feet doesn't necessarily get a lot of love. So this is the purpose of that. So for this class, I'm going to start with a golf ball. If you don't have a golf ball, you can just fast forward to our second exercise, and then I also have 2 blocks which will be helpful in just a little bit. So I'm going to start by putting the golf ball on the ground, and all I'm doing, again, nothing too crazy here, nothing too scientific, I'm just rolling the golf ball on the bottom of my foot. It's almost just like I'm kind of warming up this space down there again. That's a space of our bodies that doesn't get a ton of love and attention. Just lost my golf ball, as it happens. And then once I kind of do some squiggles all over the bottom of my first foot, I'm just gonna find some tender areas. So I know like the inside arch of my foot tends to be one tender area, so I'm just gonna put some gentle pressure on there. Again, most of my weight is still on my stabilizing foot. I'm just gonna press there for, maybe up to 30 seconds. And then I'm gonna find another spot. You can really do this for as long as you feel like you need to. And I guess as I mentioned, what we're really trying to do is just kind of like break up some of the fascia on the bottoms of our feet. So especially if we do other activities like running, if you have an existing yoga practice and you're used to getting cued to like pull up your arches, even if you just like stand a lot during the day, the bottoms of our feet can tend to get really tight, and that's actually not great for our pelvic floors. All right, I found a couple of places on my right foot. I'm going to start with the squiggles on my left foot now. And so why that's not great for our pelvic floor is when we don't feel stable in our feet, which is when we're standing especially, the primary part of our body that is connected to the earth, our pelvic floor tends to be an area that we tense up in an effort to find some sense of like stability or balance. And so what we really want to aim for is to have feet that kind of flatten out really nicely and easily in their connection to the earth. So I'm just finding some squiggles. And again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find a tender spot, and I'm just going to start pressing in there. And so we'll get into this in some of our other classes, but really the goal of a lot of our standing postures, and something that we'll work on if we're kind of doing yoga in order to support our pelvic floor, is actually kind of maybe reversing some of those patterns of like clenching up the arches of our feet. We're actually going to work on softening and flattening our feet as much as we possibly can onto the ground, again, in order to create a sense of stability. One other kind of way I like to think about the arches of my feet are as like the first dome of my body. So my arches are my first domes, my pelvic floor is a dome, and then my diaphragm is a dome. And I want all of those domes to kind of be like moving together. One reference that I've heard to kind of like help envision this is like jellyfish. So I want all of my domes to be kind of easily flowing together with my breath like jellyfish. All right, so I've kind of found my spots on the bottoms of my feet. If that's something that you like, this is a really great exercise to just do I have friends who do this at their offices in the middle of their workday. They've got a golf ball in their drawer. They pull it out at a certain time of day. They take out their shoes, and then they go ahead and they give themselves a little foot massage. All right, so we can put our golf ball to the side. We'll see if that stays there. If you like, boop. I'm just gonna hold it because it's gonna keep rolling. All right, so our second foot massage exercise is we're just gonna use our heels in order to kind of, again, loosen up the bottoms of our feet. So I'm kneeling in kind of like this catcher's kind of position, I guess you could call it. And I'm using my left heel to massage the bottom of my right foot. So I'm gonna go ahead and find a tender spot. And I'm just gonna breathe there for a little bit. And you can also do your pelvic floor breathing when we're in positions like this. So again, focusing on your lower back, maybe breathing wide, side to side into your rib cage. And then breathing into your perineum, into your pelvic floor, and just being able to soften with each inhale. And relax a little bit deeper on your exhale. And I'm going to find one more spot on my right foot, and then we'll move on to the left. All right, now moving on to our left foot. Again, I've just got my left shin on the ground. My right knee is up. I'm just going to find a tender spot on my right foot, or my left foot rather. And if you find certain spots that feel like you can like kind of dig into them in stillness, you can also kind of like rotate from your hip or your knee, kind of like rotate with your heel to kind of give it like a deeper sense of massage. And we'll find one more spot. All right. All right, so that is foot massage option number 2. Last foot massage option. Having blocks handy for this one can be helpful. We're gonna go into a toe stand. And so to get into toe stand, I'm just gonna tuck my toes under, and then I'm going to walk my hands back so my shoulders are stacked over my hips. I'm gonna have these blocks at my side. You may notice, especially if you have never done this posture before, that your feet can start talking to you pretty quickly. And so it's nice to have the blocks in order to just kind of like lean our weight into it, or even if you need to bring the blocks in front of you and lean your weight forward a little bit, just to relieve some of that tension away from your feet, that is a-okay. And it's okay if you can't stay in this posture for too long. You can just kind of work your way up. So maybe you stay in it for like 10 seconds, day one, maybe 15 seconds the next day, just slowly starting to work your way up to longer holds. One of the reasons that I like this posture so much, specifically for pelvic floor issues, is because my feet start talking to me so quickly. That is typically an instance where I might have some pretty strong pelvic floor activation because my body is like, oh, what's happening? And so this is like a really nice kind of like stable environment where my body can be maybe like tested in some way. And I can practice my pelvic floor breathing, and I can practice like having like a supple pelvic floor, and practice kind of staying in a state of like relaxation within my body, while another part of my body is like, getting a little bit activated. So I'll just be here for a few more seconds. All right, and then once you're ready, you can come to your hands and knees, untuck your toes. You can just tap out the bottoms of your feet. And then if this doesn't feel good in your body, please, just kind of be gentle here, but I like to lean back and stretch out the tops of my feet. And then you can go ahead and come forward. And that's it. A few different foot exercises you can do in order to, again, kind of loosen up the fascia at the bottoms of your feet in order to support your body with a more stable environment. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next class.